I most appreciate about Daddy, which is a hard question because there's so many things I appreciate, is that he always, or I guess usually, most often, does what he says he will do. I think about just having this deep, like, I mean, it didn't feel deep as a child. Like, I just knew if my dad said he was going to do something, he would do it. Whether it was something fun for us or something functional, like that just needed to be done. And I'm pretty sure that that has a lot to do with like a sense of safety that I get to have walking through the world, just being loved in that way, where I was rarely, if ever, disappointed because my dad said he would do something and then didn't, or said he would show up and he didn't. Yeah, that is such a blessing. And it's not even just like you saying, or daddy you saying that you'll do it something for me or for our siblings or for mommy, but it's also seeing you do that for yourself too. That like what you want to do or what you need to do, you do it. So it's not about being perfect, because I think we're all human and forget things at times, although I feel like you rarely forget things. But it's just like this integrity. And it's definitely a way that I want to be like you, because I see the impact that it has. Like, people feel safe. Like, the world and life can be unpredictable enough, but you just show up in such a steady and predictable way for your family, for your job, and for yourself. And I just love that about you.
I feel like daddy has always been someone like who's confrontable. Like, you could tell him something that hurt your feelings or you didn't like even when we were little, and he would go think about it and come back, and even if there wasn't like a big display of like an apology or whatever, like you could tell he really thought about something, and he'd come back and bring it up later to talk to you more about it or tell you how he had changed his mind. And I think that's so positive. Like, I think that positively affected me as a kid and as I got older, because it made me feel like my voice mattered even though I was a kid, like that an adult would listen to me. And so I think it's what has helped me, like, I don't know, like be an assertive person even now and like stand up for myself. I also like that I feel like daddy's slightly unconventional and like unapologetic for it. Like, to a degree, they're the ways that we all have to play the game, and I feel like he talked to me about that, things like that sometimes too. But there are ways that, yeah, just like he'd be like, I don't care. But just like he wouldn't care about like certain social conventions, and I really like that because I feel like that has also helped me as an adult be a person who is not like a slave to people's opinions or trends or fads, or feels like I have to do this way because this is how it's always been done. Like, yeah, so I really like that.
The thing I love most about Daddy, my favorite thing about him is that even though he is not someone that will really express like love in words very often, you will never doubt it because he's always showing it in his actions. Because you won't doubt that he cares, because he'll always be looking out for you. You may not even mention something, and he will still help you out with it, give you advice. It's just something that, I don't know, I'll never feel as if I am completely helpless simply because of that.
The main one, blouse and skirt. Some of these I know that didn't necessarily originate with daddy, but like I really associate them. Daddy will also do this thing where we're like, mama, saying pappy show. And this is a random one. This is also maybe not daddy thing, but because I got it from daddy, I think I'll name it. There was a period when I was really young that, like, a really little kid, I liked that daddy smiled to one side. I can't even do it now anymore. he would smile, but literally just on one side of his face. And so I started to imitate it, and I imitated it for a while when I was little, until I realized that only men did that, and it was slightly masculine. And so I stopped doing it, but for a good little while I did it. But anyway, but it was funny because it was just a way that, like, I liked something that my dad did and I wanted to emulate it, and I didn't realize, I guess it was like more of a gendered thing. So yeah.
Now, blouse and skirt, whenever he says that, would be a very easy answer, but my favorite daddyism, simply because he still remembers this thing to this day, was this phrase that came from a cartoon called Fanboy and Chum Chum, which aired on Nicktoons maybe in like the late 2000s, early 2010s. And there was one random phrase from an episode that's like, let's hear it for the pooper, poop poop, that I said a lot as a little kid. And occasionally Daddy will still bring that one back out. And I laugh every time because I'm like, how do you remember that?
One of my favorite daddyisms, or something that Daddy says a lot, is blouse and skirts. I don't know if you say it as much anymore. Maybe you have less reason to exclaim. But I thought that was so funny and so specific to you, at least in my memory. So yeah, blouse and skirt.
This one took a little bit of thinking, since it's hard to come up with just one favorite memory. But if I had to choose one, there was a time when we lived in Harker Heights. There was this little like water park toy slash, I don't know what to call it, but what you would do, you would plug in you would attach the water hose to it, and across this tube it had these little bumps that would spray water in every which direction. And I remember one time, I believe this was maybe not long after my 9th birthday, I'm probably misremembering the day, but Daddy had attached the thing to the like swing chair that we'd always have in the backyard, and we sat in it, and he was about to turn it on, and I just remember being in complete anticipation of what it was going to be like when the water sprayed everywhere, and it was very fun. It was very fun. Thinking about it again, I'm still smiling about it.
I have a lot of fun memories with Daddy. Maybe I'll do two. Yeah, I'll do two. So one is when we were pretty young, I think elementary school, when we lived in the Army section, and I remember we had a snow day and Daddy took us sledding, and we did this more than once, but this particular memory, I remember we went sledding on those plastic sleds. You basically walk up to the hill, and we went with Sarita and Shalisa, and who knows who else went with us, but that's what I remember. And we slid down the hill, and then we came back home, and then I think Sarita and Shalisa came over, and he warned us not to wash our hands quickly with hot water, and we wanted to because we're really cold, because you can get frostbite that way. And then Daddy made us hot cocoa, and I think about that a lot on snow days, or when I see parents with their kids with sleds, is how fun that was. And I really liked how much we got to play together, that you played with us when we were little. And then an adult memory that is funny to me is when we were in Sierra Leone and you and I went into the American Embassy, and I was so excited. I was taking pictures, and then we got stopped by the security, and they wanted to see my phone, and I was so nervous my phone was going to get taken away. But you were pretty cool, calm, and collected. I think you thought it was funny that I took pictures when it said it had signs not to take pictures.
One is more of like something I will always remember, that like I like carry with me, not so much like a memory of something we did together, but it was when he was up to be able to get a recruiting job in one of the Carolinas. And it seemed like he was actually pretty excited about the job, but I remember us talking, and I just explained to him, maybe we heard about it first when I was in 9th grade, and I just explained to him like just that I felt really sad. I wanted to stay and graduate with my friends, especially because I did not like going to Earl B. Wood in 8th grade. I was like, what is this? And I was just like, yeah, I'm kind of sad. Like, I feel like I just got back around some of my friends, and no part of me was saying that believing it would change any outcome, because I understood, like, I'm a kid and I'm an Army kid. You like move where your parents move. Like, none of that was an attempt to ask to stay or anything like that. I don't think I even realized that was a possibility. But just talking about that, and I guess him like listening and hearing it, decided to turn down the job, but then that would come with a deployment, and that's when he went to Korea by himself instead of us all moving somewhere so I could graduate from Einstein. And I've told that story to people, like, I really will remember that till the day that I die, because that's another example of what I mean by like feeling like you mattered even as a kid, because it would have been absolutely understandable to be like, yeah, that's sad, like, I'm sorry, like, we're moving. Yeah, and then the second memory is when we went to Animal Kingdom that Christmas, like, recently, like, Tammy was there, like, that time. And I remember I was staying a shorter time than everyone. Everyone was gonna have like an extra day in another park or more time than me. But we went to Animal Kingdom and it was like late at night and everyone left, but I really wanted to ride the Pandora rides because Pandora was the only new thing. And Daddy stayed with me. He was like, yeah, like, if I'm all the way here, like, this is the only stuff I haven't done, let's do it. And Daddy stayed with me and we stood for hours after the park closing time, because you know they don't kick you out of the line if you're already in the line. We stayed for hours after the park closed to ride the 2 Pandora rides. And I remember the one flight ride, Flight of Passage, like you're riding that creature. Daddy was like hooping and hollering like a kid on it, but it was so much fun. And then after we rode the rides, we got like the specialty drink there with my little glow in the dark pongo seed, and Daddy and I shared that drink, and then went to Walmart and went home. But like, we were both really tired, but that was just a nice time that he stayed and did that with me. And yeah, I kind of had the same mindset, like, this is the only thing I haven't done, like, let's do it. So yeah.
Happy Father's Day. We love you.
Happy Father's Day, Daddy. I love you. I'm so grateful for you. I hope that we have given you your flowers while you're alive, and will continue to. And yeah.
Happy Father's Day, Daddy. We love you.
Father's Day.
Thank you for all you do and who you are.